Have you ever really wondered what a data analyst actually does all day? It's a super popular job title for sure, but what's really going on behind the scenes? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back that curtain and show you what the role is all about. Right? This is the big question. And it's a good one because the reality of the job is this really fascinating mix of, well, art and science. So let's just dive right in and unpack it. So, what's the core idea here? At its heart, a data analyst's job is to take this huge, messy pile of raw data and somehow turn it into something clean, clear, and insightful. I like to think of a data analyst as a kind of detective for the digital world. Seriously. They're sifting through all the clues that are buried deep inside the data. They're looking for hidden patterns. And then, and this is key, they present their findings in a way that helps everyone else make much, much smarter choices. And this job is so much more than just crunching numbers. It's really a creative process, and it usually follows these 4 steps. It always starts with curiosity, right? You got to ask the right business question. Then comes the tough part, wrangling the data, which, let's be honest, is usually a total mess. After that, the real detective work kicks in. You're hunting for those patterns. And finally, you get to the most important step of all. You tell a compelling story with that data, a story that makes people want to take action. Okay, so that's the big picture process. But what does the day-to-day actually feel like for an analyst? Let's take a little peek behind the curtain, shall we? Is being an analyst just you, a dark room, and an endless wall of spreadsheets? Not even close. The reality is way more dynamic and, honestly, way more collaborative than you probably think. Now, check this out. A huge piece of the pie. About 30% of an analyst's day is actually spent just communicating. We're talking meetings, writing emails, building presentations. Why? Because data is pretty much useless if you can't clearly explain what it all means. The real magic happens when you help your team understand the so what behind all those numbers. So you see, the whole role is really this delicate balancing act. You absolutely need that quiet, deep focus time to dig into the data by yourself. But you also have to be a great collaborator who can work with the team to turn those little insights into real-world results. So to get all this done, what kind of tools does an analyst actually use? All right, let's open up the toolkit and see what's inside. Okay, these are the big ones. SQL is how you talk to databases. Visualization tools like Tableau or Power BI, that's how you make those beautiful, insightful charts. And Python or R are for the heavier lifting. But look at that last one. Business acumen. That's not a piece of software, but it might just be the most important tool in the whole box. It's the ability to understand what the business actually needs so you can ask the right questions from the very beginning. A lot of people get tangled up trying to figure out the difference between SQL and Python. Here's a super simple way to think about it. SQL is like ordering from a restaurant menu. You're telling the database, hey, I want exactly this, and it brings it to you. Python is like being the chef back in the kitchen. You get the raw ingredients, the data, and you can clean them, combine them, and cook up something totally new. All right, let's stick with Python for a minute. It's obviously a powerhouse tool, but how much do data analysts really use it in their day-to-day job? So is learning Python an absolute must-have for every single data analyst out there, or is it more of a, nice-to-have skill? The honest answer is it really depends on the specific job. A data scientist? Yeah, they're probably living in Python all day long. A business analyst? They might only touch it once in a while. And for most data analysts, it's somewhere in the middle. It's a super powerful tool you pull out for the right kind of problem. So when does an analyst reach for Python? It's usually when they hit a wall with their other tools. When a task is just too complex for SQL or Excel, like, say, advanced data cleaning, some heavy-duty statistical analysis, or automating a really repetitive process. That's when Python becomes their secret weapon. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here, from daily tasks to the tools of the trade. So if there's just one thing you should walk away with, what is it? It all boils down to this. The single most crucial point is that a great data analyst isn't just a numbers person. A great data analyst is a storyteller. They're the people who can stare at a completely confusing spreadsheet and find the clear, simple story that's hiding inside. They translate all that complexity into clarity, and in doing so, they become this essential bridge between the raw data and the decision makers, giving leaders the confidence they need to actually move forward. So really, the question isn't just about how you analyze the data. The real question is, what story are you going to tell with it?